Good Tuesday night, everybody. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. The Eagles are at the Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Let me turn my hat around so y'all can see me. No show last week. Just a heads up. I probably should have gave you guys a heads up, but, my longtime agent and one of my best friends, passed away last Sunday morning before the NFC Championship game. And with the 2 weeks in between, with the week in between, I made a decision to just shut it down and kind of recharge my battery. So I'm pretty sure everybody was looking for the show last week, and I apologize that I wasn't here, but I'm here today, and we're going to talk just shortly for a little while about this Eagles win. Right there at the link in this, oh my gosh, man, it just. How awesome was it to see the Eagles dominate the Commanders in such a dominant fashion? I mean, I just can't even find the words sometimes. Last week I kind of wrote a little bit of a check that the Birds had to cash for my ass because I went on WIP early in the week on Monday and I said there's not a snowball's chance in hell that the Commanders come into the Lincoln Financial Field and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, it caused a shitstorm, if you will. Everybody from, the Commanders fans, sending messages to the Commanders players to put it up on the billboard as billboard material. And then Commanders, Sports Illustrated, that one of the editors, one of the writers came after me. And I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with that because, I stand on my belief of this football team, and a lot of people after the fact love to come out and say, well, I knew they was going to. No, I said it way ahead of time. My belief in them was way ahead of, the actual results on last Sunday afternoon. Because I just felt like, when you look back at the previous two games, there were extenuating circumstances as to why they lost that second game in week 16. They celebrated on their home field like they had just won the damn Super Bowl, which motivated our players. And then once we had Jalen back healthy and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, back from banishment, there was no way they was going to come in here and win. Now, 4 turnovers, huge, absolutely huge. But what was even bigger is the fact that the Eagles turned 21 of those 3 of those turnovers, the 3 defensively, they turned them into, the 2 defensively and the one special teams by Will Shipley, turned those into points, 21 points, and they may have turned, the other one into 28 points. That's huge, but the offense was efficient, extremely efficient. 36 carries for 226 yards. They said that we couldn't run on them. They said that, it didn't matter that Jalen Hurts wasn't in the game the last time when they held Saquon to 27 yards rushing in the second half, 1.6 yards per carry. Yeah, Jalen maker. Because, when he puts that ball out there and pulls it in and all of a sudden he takes off with it, he's a difference maker. He makes Saquon's job a lot easier, and Saquon makes his job that much easier. 20 for 28, 230 net yards passing. He gave up 3 sacks and a passing touchdown, an absolute dime to A.J. Brown on an out route down on the goal line for 4 yards. And then he had 3 rushing touchdowns. What else do you want from your quarterback? Where are the naysayers now? Where are all the haters that are going to have to eat crow and shut their damn mouth when our quarterback is a Super Bowl winner on Sunday evening? It just goes on and on. The defense, outstanding. I really give Vic Fangio, and you guys have heard me say it for a long time. I give Vic Fangio a lot of credit, man, because for him to take two rookie cornerbacks, two new starting linebackers, lose one, have the backup come in and play the way that Oren Burks played last week, jettison Hassan Reddick, and basically hand the reins to Nolan Smith, lose Brandon Graham, for the last I don't know how many games, and for this and still to be able to, reinsert CJ into the defense after he was gone for a year, and then take the 31st ranked defense last year and turn them into the number one ranked defense in one season is just unheard of. So I give them a lot of credit, and they've been playing their asses off. The last 6 games in particular, they have been dominant. Dominant. Sometimes the numbers don't look that way, because the Commanders still had pretty good numbers, but Jaden Daniels had to throw the ball, 48 times in that game, to amass. He had 29 completions to amass 250 yards and 1 touchdown. Okay, they only gave up 99 yards on the ground. So while the numbers are there, sometimes listen, they were absolutely awesome. They were 7 for 17 defensively on third down conversions. They were 4 of 6 on fourth down conversions, and it was one of 2. The Commanders were on in the red zone. 4 turnovers, two caused fumbles. Let me give it to you. I mean, I got it all right here. Especially, these damn linebackers, man. Listen, Zach Bond is definitely in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. The way this kid is playing, it just keeps getting better and better and better. Last week, he led the team with tackles. He had 12 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 fumble, 1 forced fumble, and 1 recovered fumble. And then Oren Burks was right behind him. He was second on the team in tackles with 9 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 tackle for loss, and a sack. And that just speaks to, what it is that Vic Fangio has done with this defense. And then, of course, the special teams, picked up their end of it and did some really good things. Hey, listen, this is a Talk to Him Tuesday today. When we get to the second half of the show, I might not even wait that long. I'm going to break down a couple of things for you guys here, on the whiteboard, some things that Kansas City does, because I really want to get into what they do and give you guys my ideals and my concepts of what I believe, the Eagles have to do to win. I will start off saying the Eagles are a complete football team in all 3 phases. The Kansas City Chiefs have a future Hall of Famer at quarterback, a future Hall of Famer at tight end, a head coach who's going to be a future Hall of Famer, and a defensive coordinator that's won 4 Super Bowls, so he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer one day. But the thing about those 2 coaches, they can't play a damn down. And the Eagles got a complete team where the Kansas City Chiefs, they got a couple of really good players. And if you can figure out a way to take those guys away, then I give the Eagles a damn good chance of winning this Super Bowl, even though people, it's a mixed bag, What else? Special teams. Special teams has played well. Jake's kicking the ball great out of the end zone. Yeah, he had to miss field goal, but come on. 54 yards in that win last week. I'm still confident in him. I think he's a big game kicker. And if they need him to make one in the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl, I promise you he'll be locked and loaded and he'll get it done. All right, enough about them Commanders. Let's talk about these Kansas City Chiefs and what the Eagles are going to have to do to actually win this game. Make sure you guys are turning on the notifications, like, subscribe, and share, what we got going on here. I'll be back here next week, for a show, as well as we wrap up the season. I'll do a season wrap. And then, of course, I'm going to begin to think about, how to keep you guys engaged and stay engaged myself in the off season. I promise you this year I won't disappear on you guys in totality. I'm just not that, mock draft, 1001 type of analyst. I like analyzing, the young guys, trying to see what the perspectives are, but it's prognostication because, you just don't know what you can talk about the players, but when it comes to, who's going to draft who and who's going to trade and move, I don't like to get caught up in that. So, but I got to figure out a way to keep you guys engaged and stay engaged myself this off season, and give you guys my perspective and my ideas about what the team's going to do moving forward. Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're offensively. Listen, they've won a lot of games by the skin of their teeth. I forget the numbers, something like 16 1-point, single score wins. I've taken some heat from some people that think that I'm stirring up conspiracy theories about, how the refs are giving the Kansas City Chiefs preferential treatment. Someone on WIP even went on to say, oh, Seth is running around saying that, that the refs are rigging games, that the NFL's rigging games. Come on, man. Come on. Let's just be honest, okay? Anyone who has watched the Kansas City Chiefs all season long, you'd have to be a blind man not to see that the Kansas City Chiefs get preferential treatment in certain regards and certain circumstances. There are certain calls that Patrick Mahomes gets that other quarterbacks in the National Football League don't get. And you can say, okay, well, he's a two-time defending Super Bowl champion, and maybe that's why he gets a little more home cooking. That's all fine, okay? But it can't be so blatantly obvious that fans see it, players from other teams see it, coaches from other teams, when they talk about it, get fined about it, and people aren't talking about it just because they don't have nothing else better to talk about. Look at the Houston Texans game. It's 3rd and long. Anderson rushes in, hits Mahomes in the chest. They throw the flag. Oh, roughing the passer. They get a first down, then they go down and score on that same possession. Now, they are just a penalty away from punting the football and giving the ball to the Texans with the game within reach. And that one penalty swings the complete momentum of the game in the other direction. There's another one, same game. Mahomes is doing his little thing. He's running around, acting like he wants to get down, but really doesn't want to get down. You get two players that converge on him. He lays down, the two players go over the top of him, ram into each other, and they throw unnecessary roughness. Well, first of all, if you don't want to get hit, get your ass down. And if he's going to play that little chicken game, then the referees need to allow him to take the damn hit. Because if he really wants to protect himself, then get down. But the fact that neither one of those guys touched him and they went right over top of him, listen, everybody watching, and you're going to tell me that that's not bullshit what they called? See, plays like that, calls like that swing momentum in football games, okay? It's the kicker, the punter, instead of punting the ball at the end of the game and running out of bounds, afraid that you're going to get a punt block, bullshit like that pisses off people and creates these conspiracy theories. Because you punt the damn ball. You don't give them 2 points and screw up the spread by giving 2 points away. You don't do that. Of course people are going to begin to question it then. You get the Bills game. Everyone believed, based upon where Josh Allen was on the 4th and 1 that he had made the 4th and 1. Because the left side of his body was across the line. The ball wasn't in his right hand. The ball was in his left hand. You get one referee that comes in that gives him the first down. The referee who can't see where the football is, he runs in with his foot on the other side of the line. Turnover on downs at midfield. See, it's stuff like that. It's not conspiracy theories. When you watch the game and you see the bullshit that's happening and you talk about it, that's not conspiracy theories. Now, I get it. In order to be the king, you got to beat the king. You got to dethrone the king, okay? But if the game is all about what's fair and equitable and meritocracy within the game, call the damn game the same way. The Chiefs' offensive line, they hold more than any other offensive line in football. That right tackle, Morris, is lined up in the damn backfield every freaking play. And please pray and tell me how it is that they allow him to do that. Make him get up on the line like everybody else. There's no way in hell you can tell me that his helmet is breaking the plane of the center's waist. That's absolute BS. So all you people that want to talk about conspiracy theories and all the Chiefs, no. We're all watching it in real time with our own eyes. And that's what pisses us off. Because you call those same penalties on every other team that the Chiefs play. But when you see the Chiefs doing it, you don't make the call. And then you wonder why people are running around on the internet making claims that the NFL, the season is rigged, it's scripted. That, the NFL wants to see Patrick Mahomes win three in a row. You wonder why. Okay, let's get down to the business of the Kansas City Chiefs offense and what the Eagles are going to face. I believe that this is going to be the greatest chess match in Super Bowl history. Vic Fangio and what he needs to get done against Andy Reid and the innovative things that he does. It's interesting to me because when I look at the Kansas City Chiefs, their offense can be a finesse offense, where they throw the ball all over the place and they do a lot of tricky stuff. But they can also line up, bring the extra linemen in the game and line up and play smash mouth football as well. And they will morph between the two wherever is necessary. Like Andy will come out and try to throw the ball, but if it ain't working, he will quickly turn around and go to Pacheco and go to Hunt and run the ball to get things back in alignment. When the Eagles lost, in 22 in Super Bowl 57, they dominated the first half of that football game. In the second half, Andy came out and made a decision that he was going to run Pacheco to establish the line of scrimmage. And the Eagles, who were giving up 121 yards per game on the year, did not get him under control. And once they got the run game rolling, that opened up the rest of the playbook for Mahomes, and the things that didn't work in the first half begin to start working in the second half, okay? So I say all that to say sometimes I get the sense that when you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, you need to have two game plans. Because the one thing that Andy is really good at, and with the Super Bowl being the way that it is with the halftime show, with the extended halftime, that means he's got even more time at halftime to come up with different things to combat what it is that you do. So you almost have to have two game plans set and be ready to adjust. The teams that can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's only been one this year, the reason why they can't beat them is because they can't adjust on the fly. Listen, Vic Fangio is going to need all 40 years of the coaching experience that he's had in order to deal with Andy Reid and this offense. Because not only do they have a plethora of innovative plays, but Andy Reid is one of the few coaches, in my opinion, that coaches your flaws. What do I mean by that? Everybody knows that the end guy on the line of scrimmage, for the most part, he's the contained player. So if I'm playing left outside linebacker or left outside, defensive end, okay, and they run the ball to the right, they run the ball away from me, the first thing I got to do is I got to take a step across the line of scrimmage and I need to look up and see, is anything coming back towards me? Is there a reverse? Is it a bootleg? Is there a back trying to sneak through the line? Is there anything that may cause a problem on the backside? Because the one thing that backside defensive end or linebacker has to know, that there's not a snowball's chance in hell you're going to run that play down from the backside. But when that guy is undisciplined enough to chase the ball from the backside, Andy is watching that kind of stuff. And when he sees you be undisciplined or technically flawed or fundamentally flawed, he begins to game plan against your deficiencies. So, okay, if you want to run that little, if you want to chase that play from behind, and you saw it twice last week in the AFC Championship game, on 4th and 1 situations, Patrick Mahomes ran for one and he handed off to the back for one, or he hit the back in the flat for one. Okay, they line up. You got the back offset. He reverses out. The running back runs to the flat. The defensive end gets caught up with the tight end or the tackle on that side, and Patrick Mahomes just goes right outside of him on 4th and 2 and runs for a first down. Okay. What he should have been doing is going up the field right now to take away any question whether Mahomes could actually get around the corner or get that pass off. But again, he's running those plays because he knows the tendency that defensive end has to not do things the right way. So he is game planning and he is attacking the flaws and the deficiencies. Okay? So the Eagles are going to have to be fundamentally sound. The integrity of their defense is going to have to be sound. You cannot make mistakes against a team like this because Mahomes is the type of quarterback that sees everything. Brady used to be like this. If there's a guy on the field that makes a mistake, those great quarterbacks who has tremendous field vision, they will find it. They will find it. So you can't make those mistakes. Am I saying they got to play a perfect game? Absolutely not. But they got to be damn near perfect. Because this quarterback and this offensive coordinator, this head coach, they will make you pay for the mistakes that you make. And they will take advantage of your fundamental flaws. They got to get the run game under control. And as crazy as it sounds, put the ball in Mahomes' hands. We want him to throw the ball 40-plus times in this game. And I know I can hear y'all, you crazy. We don't want him to throw that much. Yeah, we do. Because the odds of him turning the ball over, making a mistake, are much greater by throwing the ball than it is running the football. The Eagles have to control the line of scrimmage. They have to do it. Okay? And then being able to identify formationally. I'm going to show you guys some things that I saw last week. This one play is just genius. Absolute genius by, Andy Reid in a pressure situation when you need a first down to ice the game. You got to be ready when they start condensing down their formations and understand that they're trying to get, these crossing routes. Anytime that you're going to play man against the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to say, okay, Worthy, Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, go win a matchup. When you play zone, now they're looking at, Kelsey's going to have a big day. He knows where to sit down in the zones. He knows exactly what to do. And him and Mahomes, they don't have a set play. They don't have a set anything. If Kelsey releases off the ball and the guy in his zone is lined up outside, he's going to set up inside. If he lines up inside, he's going to sit down outside. Those first down plays where they just want to get 4 or 5 yards to the chains. The Eagles need to be a lot more aggressive on Travis Kelce. Like if I was coaching, if I was putting together a game plan, I'd put Zach Bond on him in passing situations where he's attached to the formation. Okay? Beat him up, outside in, drop the opposite side safety down and double him in man coverage. Okay? I'd also run a little bit, when you get him detached from the box you know. And I know this is wild and crazy, but Keely Ringo is a big cornerback, big, strong, and physical. I put him on him with inside technique, jam him at the line of scrimmage, throw the timing of the route off, and then give him help over the top and outside. That's just a couple of things that I would personally do to take him away. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to look at Zach Ertz getting 11 catches last week and think that Travis Kelce can have, you know, an MVP type Super Bowl. They just cannot allow that to happen. Okay. So over um, on the offensive side of the ball, Jalen's going to have to be aware of the alignment of the Kansas City defense. Kansas City wants to win on first down. They want to make you either lose yards or gain no yards on first down. So now they can come with their pressure package. And if you don't make any yards on first down, they're going to come with a run blitz on second down, and then they're going to come with an all-out blitz on third down, third and long. They're trying to get you in second and third and long situations. Obviously, you know their big thing is they're going to try to stop Saquon Barkley, but everybody's tried to stop him this year. The unique thing about the Kansas City Chiefs defense, though, is that when you run condensed formations against them, even if they go too high safety, the closer you get the wide receivers to the box, now you've got the slot corner and you've got the safety on those sides. You bring those guys into a box that may just be a six-man box. But now all of a sudden that box expands because the wide receiver splits are so cut down that now these guys can get involved, you know, in the run game. And they'll shoot a B or a C gap because they know that there's nobody there to actually, you know, to block them. The wide receiver is the one that has to block them, but the minute they read run, they're shooting the gaps. So if the Eagles really want to run the ball with great proficiency, in my opinion, spread them out. You know, go 11 personnel, one tight end, one back. Get the wide receivers out. You got 6-on-6 blocking, which is going to allow you to go man on man. And, you know, with Zach Ertz turning out on the end and the other five guys, you know, on the two tackles, the end, and the linebackers. You got man on blocking. And we got the best offensive line in all football. We should be able to make some hay. If they want to drop the other safety in the box, guess what? We'll run Jalen Hurts, where you'll ride Saquon Barkley and he'll get right on Jalen, get right on Saquon Barkley's hip, and just run with him. Quarterback lead. But if you condense the formation, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you bring these other guys into the mix. And that's why at times they're so tough as a defense, you know, because these guys are shooting the gap and they're aggressive. They got aggressive slot players. They got aggressive safeties. They got, you know, they're aggressive. Their corners are aggressive across the board, you know. And there's going to be some shots and some plays to be made here, because if Jalen's got to figure out when they're coming and where they're coming from, because they'll show you pressure on one side, drop out, and come from the other side. What I really like to see the Eagles do is go to some 7-8 man protections. You know, keep Dallas Goedert in. Keep Saquon Barkley in. Maybe even go 12 personnel, go 2 tight ends and a back. Keep both tight ends in and Saquon Barkley in, and just run 2-man routes on the outside. Say, you know what, AJ, go win a one-on-one. You know what, Devontae, go win a one-on-one. If you want to show us an all-out blitz, well, we're going to max protect it, and we're going to figure out, we're going to squeeze everybody down, so if anybody comes, they're going to have to come off the edge, which is going to give Jalen a lot more time. But if he comes right up the middle, now Jalen doesn't have any time to read and try to figure out what the heck is going on. Okay? These are just my suggestions. But the Eagles have been proficient at getting it done on the offensive side of the ball all season long. And I just don't think that this Kansas City Chiefs team, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise, are as good as the Eagles are. and I have them winning this game, 32-24. Going out on the limb, all right? So before I go to break right quick and we get into, our questions in the second half, let's go to the whiteboard, and I want to show you some of the things that concerns me about the Kansas City Chiefs, all right?
I got 1 second.
Okay, all good. We got time. Just waiting for my producer to get me lined up, people. Okay, here we go. So the Eagles have to do something. The defense has to do something with the Kansas City Chiefs when they condense their splits and they cut everything down. So in a crucial situation at the end of the game last week against Buffalo, the Kansas City Chiefs aligned like this. I'm just waiting for my producer to get me back up here. Okay. So they align with the tight end here. They have Mahomes here. They offset McKinnon to this side. And then they went 3 wide receivers here. You know what? They were even tighter. 3 receivers right here. Okay? So this linebacker or this nickelback right here had this back man-to-man. Okay? So the ball is snapped. This guy runs across her. This guy runs across her. And this guy runs across her. McKinnon steps, comes out underneath, and runs a wheel route over here. And the linebacker is trying to get over the top. Not a snowball's chance in hell he's going to recover him after trying to get over all this traffic. You got 6 people over here trying to navigate this situation, okay? So my thing is, and it's easy hindsight to say what you would do, but in actuality, these are the situational things that you have to anticipate and you have to practice, as a coaching staff. You want to cut your splits down? Okay, fine. We're just going to go zone over here, okay? So I got the slot corner. I got a safety down here. And I got a cornerback out here, okay? I got a corner here and a safety. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4 downs, okay? So I'm just going to feather him back. I'm going to feather him back, send him to the hole, okay? He's going to go deep. I got a guy to the flat. I got a guy in the hole and a guy here. So you can run whatever you want to run. The first crosser, this linebacker is going to say crossing, crossing, crossing. Now he's going to relate to him, okay? The second guy coming across, the slot corner is going to say crosser, crosser, crosser. He's going to relate to him. The third guy that comes, okay, the slot corner here is just going to match with him, okay? And now when this guy comes to the flat, the cornerback's sitting out here with eyes on it, and he can break up on it right now, okay? So the Eagles have got to figure a way to get out of man coverage when you see this bunch and it's condensed like this. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out a way to pick guys off. And to even make matters worse, they'll take Kelsey over here and run him on a crossing route over top of all of it. So whoever's covering him over here, they get caught up in the trash. All right? So that's the first thing defensively. The next thing I want to talk about how to deal with Travis Kelsey, okay? I talked about it. I take Bond, I take number 53, and I put him here, and I jam the shit out of him, okay? And go 2 high safeties. And I have this offside guy rotate down into the box. So you got one guy on the inside and one guy on the outside. Rotate that safety back to the hole. The other issue that I see is a much bigger problem when you go zone coverage. I'll get it right here in a second. That's me. Are you doing it or is it me?
No, it's you.
Okay. So here we go. You get Travis Kelce here with a slot and a wide receiver in a 3-by-1 situation. Okay? Mahomes in the back. So you got the slot corner here, you got the corner here, and you got a linebacker here and a linebacker here, corner here. Okay? And your two safeties. So a lot of times what happens is teams want to play zone against this. Okay? A lot of times you'll get this guy that'll run a vertical route. You get that guy to the flat, which pulls him there. And this guy, anytime you're counting, you always count from outside in. So this is the number 1, 2, 3. This linebacker is responsible for relating to number 3. You saw it in the you saw it in both the Bills and the Texans game. Okay? So what wound up happening? Travis Kelce releases, okay? He either runs an out route or he catches this linebacker. When that linebacker drops, he catches that linebacker screwing around and then he seeps in and look at all of this space because they're going to take that back and that linebacker is going to have to come out and relate to him. And I always say, anytime I was ever responsible for the number 3, okay, when he releases, I'm going to take my jam and then I'm going to sink, okay? I'm going to look inside because any other crossing means that this is the new number 3 and this guy becomes the new number. But when I look out there and there's nothing going on, now I got to relate to him, okay? I got to shield him. I can't let him get over here because there's no help. The minute he goes there, look at all of that space. So I've got to relate to him and I've got to push him to the 3 receiver side because that's where all my help is. So the Eagles, when they drop, you can't just turn and look at the quarterback. You've got to get your eye from the quarterback to the number 3, to the quarterback to the number 3. Because if you don't see what he's doing, you have no chance of stopping him whatsoever. And it's even worse on the goal line, you know, in the red zone situations, okay? Because what you get, let's say that this is the goal line right here. You get Travis Kelce, he'll go out and then up, okay? This safety is out of there. The linebacker will drop, and then he'll lose eyes on where Kelce is. And the problem is, if you get over here too far, he'll just get inside you. If you stay over here too far, he'll just sit it down right there. You got to get to him. You got to relate to him, okay? Because if you don't, they're going to hurt you with this kind of stuff, all right? I just want to give you guys a little something to look at when you're watching a game because these types of things are the difference a lot of times between a team beating the Chiefs and the Chiefs. You know, against that last thing on the goal line that I just showed you. I'm trying to remember the linebacker for the Houston Texans that got suspended for the hit early in the year. I think his name is Aziz. He was the guy on Travis Kelce on the other side. You remember when he dove for the ball and he's laying on the ground and Travis Kelce's standing there looking at him? Like, because you cannot just drop and keep your eyes on the quarterback. I understand that the coaches teach you to drop, get to your landmark, and then get your eyes back on the quarterback. But in actuality, if you don't understand what's going on with the routes, then you have no idea where the receivers are. Okay? I want to look at that 3 because if the 3 goes out, somebody's got to come back in. If the 3 stays there, I'm looking to see if anything comes underneath so I can push it. If nothing comes underneath, right now I got to relate to the number 3. And the thing is, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce has got this down to a science. It's one of the main reasons why they're so prolific in what they do, because they play off of your inability. Like I said before, they play off of your deficiencies, your fundamentals, and your technical deficiencies. Why? Because when you don't locate where he is, he's just going to move to where you're not. And it's an easy pitch and catch. An easy pitch and catch. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When I come back, nothing but your questions the rest of the way. We'll rapid fire them. I'll get as many as we can in. You guys already know what my prediction for the game is going to be. I'll hit it up again. But after this break, we'll jump into the.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them. Sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours.
On game day, it's the Eagles' job to protect this house.
But in here, this is our house.
So we drank our pickle juice, then wrote the playbook on injury law.
And created a winning culture that knows
Hungry dogs run faster. And we always bring the pressure. Because that's the standard. And we don't win until you win.
Oh.
Oof. Stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
What's up, folks? Here we go. Geez, we probably got about 10 minutes left in show. So Lecco, fires, man. Let's get at it. Defense can stop the tricky plays. The Chiefs run while not blowing coverage. Well, listen, the Chiefs have advantages, like I said before, because your technique and your fundamentals aren't right. When they're running all that, they run that stuff so they can trick your eyes so that you're not looking where you should be looking. But you've got to understand as a player, you've got to lock into what your key is, because one key takes you to the next key. So if I'm keying an offensive lineman, he's going to tell me whether it's run or pass as a linebacker, okay? Once he tells me whether it's run or pass, now my eyes can go to the next key, whether that's my man or whether it's I get a pass key, me getting into my drop and then trying to look and see where the wide receivers and the tight ends are, So a lot of it is just, listen, just do your job. Don't try to do somebody else's job. If your job is contain the damn ball. If your job is to control the B gap and then rush once you read pass, then do that. Teams get themselves in trouble against the Chiefs because they try to do more than what their job requirement requires. If everybody just does their job across the board and reads their keys across the board, then you have a much better chance at success against this football team. But Andy Reid knows from all the years of coaching, and he's taught it to Patrick Mahomes, that the natural inclination, the bad habits that defensive players have created because we're coaching, go to the ball, hurry up, go to the ball and be aggressive. Well, that's not really it. What it is, okay, read, decipher, and once you make up your mind that you know 100% what's going on, now go 110 miles an hour. But guys are so reactionary, they're going 110 miles an hour without even deciphering what the hell's going on. And these coaches, these supposed gurus, are using that to their advantage. So to answer your question, do your job. Stick to your fundamentals and trust your teammates to do what they're supposed to do. It's one of the things that bothers me about Josh Sweat. When he's on the end, sometimes he sticks his head inside. Listen, that's a sign of selfishness, and that's a sign of not trusting the guy that's next to you to do his job. Because if it's my job to contain, if I show color, he's got to cut it back up inside. And if he cuts it back up inside, or the quarterback rushes back up inside, that's somebody else's job. And I can't be selfish and try to get the sack or make the tackle that's somebody else's. I just got to do my job until my opportunities come. But selfishness and greed sometimes will get you in trouble way beyond anything that you could ever imagine. That's why the really good disciplined football team, that's why you used to always hear Bill Belichick, just do your job. Not that guy's, or mine. Just do your job. And if we got 11 guys doing their job across the board, the chances of us winning go up exponentially. Okay? Next question. I don't even know what this name is, but anyway, do I think we will struggle with the screen pass out of the backfield? They seem to have a lot of success with it. A lot of it depends on how you play them. A lot of teams don't play man coverage against Kansas City. And when you're not playing man coverage, that means the linebacker's dropping in the coverage, and while he's dropping, they're setting up for the screen. When you're playing man coverage, like anytime I had the back man and man-to-man coverage, and they set him up the screen, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that offensive lineman is going to beat me out there. I'm either going to tackle him for a loss or it's going to be an incomplete pass. But when you drop in the zone, you're trying to get depth, and by the time you set up, you're looking up and you're like, oh shit, it's a screen. And now here you come, and you got these two big offensive linemen in front of you. That's why, they're so successful. But hey, everybody's just got to run to the ball. The defensive linemen that are supposed to be being blocked by these offensive linemen that are coming out to set up the screen, they got to feel that they're letting them go a little bit too easy and redirect and get to the ball. So when I come, even though I might not be able to make the tackle, I'm going to turn it back into those guys that have come screaming from the inside that can get a big hit and maybe cause a fumble. But when guys don't hustle and do their job while I'm trying to do my job from the outside, then you get plays that break big for the opposing team. And Kansas City is pretty proficient at doing it. The timing of it and everything is absolutely superb. So we'll see how the Eagles handle it. We'll see how Vic has prepared them, for that particular play. All right, next question. Cedric wants to know, other than the referees, what's your biggest concern about the game? Offensively, my biggest concern is Chris Jones. And I know we got a damn good offensive line, but that dude's a game wrecker, man. And he'll move all up and down the defensive line trying to find a mismatch that he can exploit. They run a lot of good games. The Eagles had some problems against the LA Rams with the stunts and games that they were running. But on the defensive side, that's the guy that worries me the most. On the offensive side, it's just getting Travis Kelce under control. Because I think once he gets rolling, that's where the energy, the infusion of the energy to the offense, it just grows exponentially. Listen, the Eagles are going to control their running game. I don't really fear, anyone's speed on their offense at wide receiver except for the Worthy kid. But they really don't use him. They use him in some gadget plays. The Eagles are going to have to be ready for that little jet sweep and all that nonsense that they do. But he is more of a threat when they play man-to-man coverage, and the Eagles don't play a lot of it. They actually do a pretty darn good job of, giving you a zone look, but actually being in man. They disguise extremely well. And they're not going to be able to hide it per se against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But, you know, I think Travis Kelce is that one piece. You know, not that they don't win when he doesn't have success. Like the game against the Texans, I mean, he was just all over the place. The Texans couldn't do anything with him because they were playing zone and he ate their lunch. Then you come back against Buffalo last week, and all of a sudden, you know, Buffalo's playing all this man, and they got Worthy going. They got Juju Smith-Schuster going. I don't even understand how let me stop. They get the individual matchups going, and then they start all the crossers and whatnot, like I showed you earlier, where they pick guys off and get guys running free. Those are the situations where, you know, once they cut their splits down, you got to have an automatic zone call, because it's literally impossible to play man-to-man against those tight formations, because they're designed to knock somebody off and to get somebody free. So, all right, next question. Alex wants to know, what kind of advice do I give the Eagles rookie defensive backs about the Super Bowl, DeJean and Mitchell? Listen, I don't want them to do anything different than what they've done. It's football. Listen, let's not make this more complicated than it is. It's big. Don't get me wrong. I played in 2 of them. The Super Bowl is big, okay? But you can make a mess of this thing if you start getting it in your head that it's more than football. It's football. It's just a more intense version of it. And these young kids have played well all season long. And then they've stood out in the playoffs. Quinyon Mitchell has got his first 2 interceptions of the year in the playoffs. I don't want them to do nothing different. I want you to just go out with confidence that the guys that you're playing against, you can dominate them, okay? And then just go play. Because if you prepared, and they're always prepared, when it comes to game time, the head's in the barn. And if the head's in the barn, that means that every bit of information you need to put in, all the preparation, all the information you put into the database, okay? Just relax and play. It's football. You've been playing it your entire life. Don't do anything different. Don't put any undue pressure on yourself, because it's the Super Bowl. It's big, and every play could potentially be big. But I don't want my players thinking that way, okay? They're already going to be feeling enough pressure. So there's nothing I want to say to heap even more pressure on them. You get me? You get what I'm saying, man? I just want them to go out and do what they've been doing all season long, and they'll be fine. All right, next question. Jay Smart wants to know, is the 46 defense relevant in today's game? Not so much. You know, the 46 defense is really a defense that was created to stop the run. You know, you've got a Jack and a Charlie, 3 guys, you know, down. That's 5. You got a 6-man line, okay, with the Mike linebacker and a safety down in the box. So you basically have an 8-man front. And what you're telling your opponent is there ain't a snowball chance in hell you running the football. If you're going to get some bread, you're going to get it on the outside. But guess what? We got 2 shutdown corners on the outside, so you ain't getting nothing out there either. And oh, by the way, if you try to throw against it, we got 20 different blitzes that we can throw at you to get 2 or 3 guys free, and we're going to punish the hell out of your quarterback. You can't do that in today's NFL, you know, because you got a half a step and you got to pull off. Back when I played, we could hit the quarterback after he let it go and punish him. The intimidation aspect of the game is no more what it used to be. And I'm sad for that. I understand why they did it, but I'm sad for that because the game that I know and the way that I knew how the game was played doesn't exist anymore. You got wide receivers running across the middle without having to worry about getting their head taken off. You can't hit a guy too hard because if you hit him too hard, he's a defenseless receiver. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't make him defenseless. His quarterback, not understanding coverage, just threw him that ball knowing that he shouldn't have threw it to him. And I undressed his ass, and you gonna give me the penalty and a fine on Tuesday morning? So you kind of get what I'm saying. That there are situations where it can be viable, like when teams are in their 4-minute and, you know, you want to basically, you know, try to get the ball back, you could run it. But there's not enough teams that can implement it or understand or know how it works to actually run it. Now you see a lot of teams use a form of it. They'll line up in their Eagle defense. The Eagles do it, with their 5-man line. They take the 3 big defensive tackles, they cover up the center and the 2 guards, and then they got the 2 ends on the outside that are responsible for contain. And then you can either drop, a safety in the box to get to a 7-man front, or you can go single with the linebacker, and then you condense guys down. So now the linebacker's got a single gap on each side, because basically when you go 5 down like that, they're going to cover almost every gap. If you run the ball to the defense's right, he's got a 1-gap responsibility. If you run it to the left, he's got a 1-gap responsibility. So I just don't see it viable today, not only because of teams running multiple tight ends, multiple wide receiver set, but also there's not enough teams out there, enough coaches out there that can take it and really know how to use it in the most efficient way. All right, next question. Let's see. Lev Ben is saying, wants to know, how does Kansas City stop Jalen Carter? They got double teaming. They got double team him all day long. I think that's the only way they can. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys. Aleko, can you throw me up on the whiteboard right quick one time? If I was trying to deploy Jalen Carter and get him freed up, this is what I would do with him, okay? I would look for ways to figure out how to free him up, because, you got 600 pounds laying on him all the time. I just think that, there's a better way to do it. So the Eagles love to put him in this position, okay? So let's go with the X's. So here's your in out here, okay? When you put your other defensive tackle here, you can go one-on-one, and then you can double him all day long, okay? But if I was trying to create different ways to free him up, I would take this defensive tackle and I'd put him here, because the minute he turns, he's in the backfield right now. So this center has no other option but to honor that, which means you're going to get the one-on-one, because the minute he's up the field, he's got to block him there. Now you got the one-on-one. So you almost have to double here and then turn out here, okay? The other thing you can do, which the Eagles have begun to do a lot of, okay, they've taken Carter and they've lined him up here with the defensive tackle here and the end here and the defensive end out here. And they'll run him on a game here and loop back this way, okay? And a lot of times what happens is when he jumps this gap here, this guy is already moving here, and by the time he realizes the loop is coming back, it's too late, But I would use a myriad of different ways to figure out how to get this guy free where he's just not getting beat up all the time, all right? But yeah, they're going to have to double and sometimes triple team him in order to control him. All right, we got 2 more questions before we got a wrap for the night. Let's get it. B. Rufo wants to know, do I think our D is disciplined enough against the Kansas City Chiefs? Hey, listen, they've been disciplined all year. They just can't get in a situation where you begin to feel like the game is bigger than what it really is. At one end of the spectrum, it is really big. It is bigger than what it really is. But at the other end of the spectrum, when the lights come on and the ball's kicked off and the first play is football. It's football. And what team out-executes the other team is going to be the team that wins, especially the one that makes the least amount of mistakes. All right? Last question for the night. Jay Smart wants to know, if I were the Eagles linebacker today, how would you schematically approach Kelsey and Mahomes in the Super Bowl? Well, that's a tricky question because if you're asking me if I was playing linebacker, how would I want to play Travis Kelce? I would want him man to man all by myself. A lot of people hear that and say, "Oh, the bravado." No, listen. Tight ends, covering tight ends is what I used to do. Put me on his head, okay? Put me on his head and let me beat his ass up all day because I can run with him, okay? Because I'm going to beat him up at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to take my jam at the line of scrimmage because you got to understand the quarterbacks in the NFL, the average time that they have to throw the ball is 2.5 seconds, okay? So if I beat that tight end up at the line of scrimmage, 1,001, 1,002, well, guess what? It's too late. Mahomes can't wait for Kelce to come free if I got his ass jammed up at the line of scrimmage. Or if I throw him off kilter and he's supposed to be at 6 yards and I'm beating him up at 4 yards, guess what? He's got to come off of him and go to the next read. But when you play off and you let Travis Kelce or any receiver that plays in a high-powered offense like this, you give them free access, okay? You got to understand these routes are designed to hit at certain times. So you got Kelce sitting down at 6. You got the outside receiver coming in at 12. And you got another guy that's sitting down behind them coming in at 8. And if all those routes hit boom, boom, boom on time, meaning that if every single one of those receivers hits his mark when he's supposed to, Patrick Mahomes he's standing back there and he got the pick of the litter. Well, what guy do I want to throw to? Which guy is most open? Which guy can get me the most yards? The NFL is different than how it used to be. We used to have a saying, no free access, especially in man coverage. If I'm guarding a guy man to man, he is damn sure going to get his ass jammed, okay? But these coaches today are so afraid of missing the jam or getting beat off the jam that they play off and they let these wide receivers run and quarterbacks run these timing routes and they just shred them and cut them all the way down the field. And they never get up and play aggressively and say to their players, hey, listen, you're going to have to drop them and you're going to have to get it done, okay? You don't have to just drop him and get it done. I need you to play this guy and I need you to get up and I need you to play him aggressively, you know? If they don't play him aggressively, the same way they've been playing all year long, I do not want to see my cornerbacks, 8 to 9 yards off the ball. Get up and challenge these wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. That's when you're playing your best. That's when you got Darius Slay engaged. That's when you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson engaged, when you're challenging people. But if you play off and think that you're just going to break on, Patrick Mahomes will carve you up like a Thanksgiving turkey. And before you know it, they'll have 21 points on the board before you even know it. You have to play them aggressively. You cannot play them afraid. That's why I said early in the week, I don't give a damn about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I really don't. My mentality is they're after the same thing that I'm after. And the only thing that's keeping me from it is me beating their ass on Sunday. If you look at it any other way, you're looking at it the wrong way. You can't look at them like they're, like they're some kind of gods and you're just mere mortals. They put their pants on the same way that you do. They're human beings. They're just a good football team. And it's up to you to take it to them and take what's rightfully yours, Philadelphia Eagles, because they're not going to give it to you. They want the three-peat. The only way that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to come home victorious, that we're going to get this parade down Broad Street all the way up to the Art Museum. That's the real road to victory in the Eagles fight song, okay? Only way that's going to happen is the Eagles are going to have to go out on Sunday and take what they want. All right? I'm out. Mic drop. As always, you guys take care of each other and be good to each other. But most important, make sure you love each other. Fly, Eagles, fly, go Birds, and anything else you want. I'm looking forward to this victory on Sunday. I can't even sleep, man. I'm sorry this game. Peace, y'all.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care Program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
How do you make sure your next vehicle purchase is a quality vehicle priced right? Go to DavisCertified.com.
Every Davis certified pre-owned vehicle has a 60-day, 2,000-mile powertrain warranty, plus 2 years of free oil changes, a 3-day exchange policy, and a free Carfax report.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at RonJaworskiGolf.com.
This is Parks. Parks, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.